Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over two different stories dealing with the subject of catching your girl stealing from you, whether it be a woman that you're dating or your actual girlfriend. And the first story I'm going to go over is actually an email sent from a subscriber, and you're going to see in his situation what goes down and how he handles the situation right, the way any of you guys should handle it if this situation actually happened to you. I don't think what happened to him would actually happen to you guys, but just saying, hey, you never know. The second story is one I found is from a young guy who's about the same age as the first guy, and he handles it all wrong. It's a complete opposite. So you're going to see the situation and how to handle a situation like that and how not to handle the situation like that. And believe me, when I go over the second story, you're going to literally want to jump in and just slap the guy for his, you're going to see what I'm talking about. But before I do this, guys, I got to tell you this. You know, I warn you guys all the time to watch out for the red flags, to be aware there's red flags, to always keep your eye out for red flags, to, when you're doing your business, to always wear protection no matter what, and to always dispose of your protection, because there are gals that will deliberately orchestrate and do things to get pregnant on purpose, so they got a nice money flow going forward for 18 years. I warn you about all these things, but I've never actually had to warn you or done stories about you catching women actually stealing from you. So this is different and definitely a good one to go over. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. This is again from the guy who is a subscriber. He says, "Hello. I've enjoyed your readings, annoyance with sirens, and mid-story comments. You have a stable balance going on, and the encouragement for working out, being self-reliant, and regular reminders of the legal dangers bear regular repeating." Well, thank you, bro, for your support. Appreciate it. He says, "This is a short story from my mid-20s. He's 30 years old now. That is a cautionary tale. The moral of the story is to buy a heavy safe and bolt that sucker into your home. Use some nice lag bolts and double expansion anchors." Translation, yeah, get a big safe, because he's going to tell you the story about what happened when he didn't have a big safe and hide his belongings and hide his important information. He says, "I was fielding multiple women after moving to a new city. Life was good and my work was going well. As a corporate supervisor in an affluent industry, and I was not hurting for money or self-esteem. Not to say that I was an arrogant ass, but I was comfortable with letting the chips fall as they may, and I would always speak up when necessary. I earned my position through hard effort and frugal living. Thus, I was able to rent a decent home with a yard and fruit trees by myself. The home made it easy to make women feel at ease," and he says, "sourced from Tinder and bars." Well, there's your problem right there, my friend. What we're going to see, guys, in this story is that with the girl he has in his house and what she does, right there, sourced from Tinder and bars. Tinder's a cesspool, and let's be honest, depending on the bars you're going to, what do you expect in terms of the quality of the gals that you're going to get involved, you're going to hook up with? But you live and you learn. It says, "But I learned at the pace of a lightning bolt to face that I need to protect myself better." Guys, we always got to protect ourselves, and we got to always anticipate things that you never even think would be a problem down the road. That's taking responsibility. Now, the last thing any of us would think of actually would be catching your girl trying to steal this, and this, but you just never know. You got to play it safe. Anyhow, he says, "One day, a smoke show of a doctoral candidate was over and performing admirably." In other words, she was smoking hot. "She had been around for a couple weeks and over to my house a few times. Eventually, I decided that using the shower was in order and went in the other room to get that started. It took a few minutes to hastily clean up dust from trim and other visible surfaces before inviting her inside." Translation, cleaning up after doing the dirty deed. "Perhaps 8 minutes passed while the shower was running. DC," the doctoral candidate, he's obviously keeping her name quiet here, "must have thought that I was in the shower and made full use of that time. When I pushed the door open between the bathroom and my bedroom, I saw the DC on the floor with my financial folder out and fly fishing book on my packed bookshelf. No way a person would stumble on this organically. Who knows how much snooping she had done." So this guy's in the shower, thinks everything's cool with this girl. He's been seeing her for a bit. They just got romantic, and for whatever reason, he gets out and decides to take a look, and there she is, on the floor with folders of all his financial information, probably accounts to different numbers to different accounts, checks, checking accounts, maybe his passport, social security. Who the hell knows? But the point is, imagine that. You think everything's cool, and you find this girl you're seeing knee deep in all your stuff, right? Big sign not to keep it all accessible. And she was probably casing the place, and she was probably checking it out. Obviously, she knew where this stuff was. So the whole time when he thought everything was cool and they're hooking up, she's looking all around to see where he keeps different stuff. So when she had her moment, what if this guy fell asleep? They went to sleep together that night, and she got up all quiet and then got everything she needed and got out of there, right? DC had her iPhone on hand and was focused on taking pictures. She had not yet noticed me. I tossed a travel-sized shampoo bottle against a large window, which startled DC and gave me enough time to swoop her phone away and start deleting photos. So she's there all secret agent-like, taking pictures of his different accounts and account information and all that. I mean, what is she, like a secret agent, a spy in training here? Seduce the guy with her body and then go in and take all his financial information? Imagine if this guy kept taking the shower. He never would have known. They say he threw a giant shampoo bottle against the wall to startle her. I threw that giant shampoo bottle right against her head, right between the eyes. The girl started wailing and talking the moment she saw that I had her phone. There were only 3 pictures, and it didn't look like she sent them out anywhere yet. Imagine her reaction. Oops, sorry. I thought there was something else. Getting DC out of the home was not easy, especially since I did not want to physically force her and risk a bruise. Isn't that crazy? He catches her trying to steal all his information, and he's worried that, God forbid, if he actually tries to physically remove her from his place, that she could have a bruise and therefore accuse him of all sorts of things. Because he deleted the evidence, I might add, which understandably from her phone, but that could still be tracked if she has someone that's obviously good at that type of stuff, which he probably does. She's in the wrong here, and he's worried that he has to... That's the world nowadays, unfortunately. Anyway, I just treated DC like a shitty employee and told her to get dressed. My tone was even keeled, and my disgust was very clear. Before I gave her the phone back, I deleted our conversation and my contact. She got off easy, and believe me, if this was, let's just say for argument's sake, that this was just say he had a so-called friend over at the house, and he thought it was his friend, and he caught his friend doing all this. He would have every right, and probably would beat the crap out of him. And he wouldn't have to worry about, being accused of this, and this, because it'd be another dude that he whipped his ass. But because it's a woman, and God forbid there's any kind of marks or bruises from him, rightfully so, throwing her out of the place, cops come back and arrest him. It's insane. She screamed about how her brothers would sort me out. I was being ridiculous, and that she wasn't doing anything wrong. What do you mean he wasn't doing anything? She wasn't doing anything wrong. She was going through all his personal belongings, taking pictures of all his stuff, which she could have sold or used to open new credit cards accounts and all sorts of other things, right? I told her that if she loved her brothers, she would not send them by, and to get the hell out of my life. I lied and said that I knew her academic advisor and would contact him if she didn't leave. Really, all I knew was his name. Never met the man in real life, but my bluff worked. That night I changed my routing numbers, updated my stock security information, and got new credit/debit cards, covering all of my bases. I informed my director that I had a crazy woman that might try to do something. He just laughed at me and said not to worry. Well, I'm sure after this, he thought definitely a lot, really thought about the quality of women that he's picking up. Like he said before, Tinder, which is a cesspool, and bars, or being very careful about the screening process. But even then, right? She seduced him, hooked up lots of times, and when she knew when she thought she had the right moment, when he would trust her, boom, look what happened. 2 days later, I owned a 450-pound safe for my documents and my licensed personal protection item. Translation, one of these. I moved 2 months after that. Nobody ever came in person to bother me. However, before I moved, a few pieces of animal bones with rotting meat were left at my back door. Yikes, red-headed biology majors. What a psycho. He says, guys, buy safe. Protect your life. For God's sake, keep the fun ones out of your home. I definitely break that last rule, but at least I lock things up and have insurance. Yes. So, moral of this story is, guys, and you're going to see with the next one as well, keep your important stuff locked up, okay? And be very careful who you let in your house, okay? And you could be seeing a girl for a while, think everything's cool, and then you just never know. So I would advise, yes, get yourself a safe. Have all your important statements from your various accounts, as well as your passport, and anything that has important information on it, additional credit cards, even your wallet, for God's sakes, if you have her over, put it in the safe so she can't get to. Okay, because you never know, guys. You just never know. Anybody you let in your house, what could go wrong? It's very good practical advice. So now I'm going to go on to the second story. If I can find it here. And the second story is from a guy who doesn't exactly handle this like the first guy. And like I told you before in the beginning, when I go through this, you're literally going to want to jump in here and slap the shit out of him, because most certainly I did too when I read this. His story is, a 26-year-old male, found out my girlfriend, a 22-year-old female, is stealing money from me, and I have no idea what to do. What do you mean you have no idea what to do? It's pretty obvious what to do. You catch anybody stealing from you, aside from the fact that you have a right to call the police, you confront them. Or at the very least, if it's like, for instance, his girlfriend, you get them out of your life. After you get your money back, confront them. Seriously. And by the way, not to mention the fact that, with the previous story, you would think that the previous story, going back to this real quick, you'd think this guy's every right to call the cops. But probably he'd have no proof or something like that. But keep that in mind. Starts off, so just to clarify, I'm not posting this for people to criticize my girlfriend. I'm generally asking for advice. Dude, you post a story like this online, you bet your ass people are going to criticize your girlfriend. And your girlfriend has every right to be criticized for what you're going to see she does. Okay? But right now, you can see what type of guy this guy is already. He has no idea what to do if he catches his girl stealing from him. Is this a weak man or a strong man? Is this a guy with self-worth or no self-worth? He says, my girlfriend and I have been together for over 2 years, and I love her very much. And I pretty much already decided I want to spend the rest of my life with her, but something weird happened last week. I came home from work earlier than usual, and I really needed to use the bathroom. So I came home, rushed straight to the bathroom, and he says it was an emergency. I guess she had her AirPods on, and she wasn't paying attention, but I guess she didn't notice, so I came home. Anyway, while I'm doing my business in the bathroom, I hear keys rattling, and my locker drawer that I never gave her a key to open, and she's rattling through it. So I decided to keep quiet until she's done. That's what I do when I hear her leaving the room. So I go check the drawer quietly and found she's taken, let's just say, a significant amount of money. He kept quiet during this whole thing. I get he's on the throne doing his business, but if you hear somebody going through your personal stuff that requires a key to get into it, I don't care what the situation is, you're going to jump to it and deal with it. But instead, he decides to hang back, and lo and behold, she's stealing a significant amount of money. What the hell, dude? And unlike the first guy, this guy at least had his stuff locked up. But she actually had the wherewithal. This is his girlfriend of 2 years who he thinks he's going to marry, and she's stealing the keys to steal his stuff. At that point, I'm pissed. I go out to confront her, and then I realize she left. So now I take a moment, and I calm down a little and decide to wait it out before I confront her. What the hell's the matter with you? You go after her right now. You don't wait. She's going to go spend that money. And the longer it takes for you to confront her, she's going to deny it. You can at least catch her red-handed with that cash. Guys, if anybody's doing you wrong, whatever the situation may be, you got to stand up for yourself. You got to confront them. You can't just be passive and let it go. And this guy's obviously letting his feelings block common sense and what he should really be doing. And guess what? She darn well knows that. At first, I wanted to be nice about it. So the next day, I want to be nice about it. So this is typical nice guy. At first, I wanted to be nice about it. So the next day, I sat her down and told her, babe, if you ever need anything, I'll help out however I can. And then she goes, yeah, I know, babe, and I love you for it. So I ask her bluntly, so why did you steal from me? She freaks out and starts stuttering and swearing that she never stole anything and that she started acting all upset that I'm accusing her and stormed out. What does it say about her and her character? This guy said in the beginning, we've been together for 2 years and I want to marry her. He confronts her about it. He does this whole nice guy bullshit. Babe, if you ever need anything, you know I'm here to help you out. I'd be like, bitch, you stole my fucking money. Give me my fucking money. That's what I'd be like. And I would have confronted her right then and there when it happened, not the next day when she clearly obviously spent it or the proof is no longer on her. What the hell? I mean, it's unbelievable to me, guys, the amount of guys out there that just have no balls and have no common sense. And then she, of course, denies it, no surprise there, acts like a drama queen, and storms out. In other words, trying to make him feel like he's the bad guy. He says, truthfully, I don't even care about the money. If she's desperate enough to steal it, I'll let her have it, and I'm just hurt by the lies. Smack. What do you mean you don't care about the money? That's your hard-earned money, man. Yeah, please announce that to the world. People will be more than happy to take advantage of you and steal from you. I'll just let her have it. I'm hurt by the lies. I don't know what to do now. My dad has been telling me to break it off with her, but I'm not so sure. Oh my God. I told you guys when you hear the second story, you're going to want to jump in the camera and find this guy and slap the shit out of him. This guy needs to slap it. Believe me. His dad needs to give him a slap because, come on here. Listen to your father. Get her out of your life, but get your money back. I'd report her to the police. I don't know how far that's going to go. Actually, I would say to her, listen, you're going to give me my money back. I'm going to report you to the police. She may call you on your bluff, but try it anyway. You got nothing to lose. But guys, it never should have gotten this far. Okay? The crazy part is he's been dating her 2 years, thinks he wants to marry her, and he's never had any kind of clue about her character and true self. Okay? He had things locked away for a good reason, but still, he heard her dangling the keys, going in there when he was on the throne doing his business. At that moment, he should have jumped right to it, and at the very least confronted her when she was leaving the house, and she'd have the cash on him, and he could. I don't care. Pull that cash out of her pocket or her purse. That's his money. But he just let it go, being passive. Guys, when people are doing you wrong, you have to confront them. You have to stand up for yourself, okay? Look at this. This guy says he has no idea what to do. Does this sound like a guy that values himself, that has self-worth? Or does this sound like a guy that has no self-worth? A typical nice guy that's pushed around and taken advantage of? Obviously, option 2. So guys, don't be like this guy, okay? If you ever get in a situation, God forbid, be like the first guy. You confront, you deal with it. But the moral of both these stories are, you can't trust anybody. You got to really be careful who you let into your life. You got to be careful who you let into your home with all your belongings and stuff, because you never know what could happen. So what I'd recommend, most certainly, guys, for you guys that obviously date and relationships, all that, or anybody in general, get it safe. Have your personal, important information that could cause you a lot of problems if somebody got their hands on it, locked away. That's bank statements for your retirement accounts, brokerage accounts, any types of accounts. Okay, little passwords you have written down to get into your crypto wallet, anything you can think of. Passport, additional credit cards that you don't use very often, cash, anything, locked away, because you never know. So, but anyhow, guys, so there you go here. Red flags. You always look out for the red flags, and as well. And I never thought I'd ever cover a video about stealing, but here you go. 2 perfect examples. So don't be the second guy, guys. So anyway, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and know what you think about this. And by the way, guys, like I said before yesterday, if you ever have a good story you want to send me, whether it's your own personal situation, something you went through, or something that you've overcome. I love stories where guys obviously are going through hard times, and then they find a way to overcome it. Those are great stories to share, because I know you guys love to hear that, because it helps a lot of guys out to hear that guys have struggled and gone through difficult times. People have done them wrong, and they find ways to survive and get through it and come out on top. That helps guys that are struggling. It really helps them get by during tough times and have hope they can do it. So if you guys have stories like that, please email me, send them my way. And of course, if you have any crazy stories or great articles that you'd like me to cover, also email me those as well. I can't guarantee you that I may do them all, because I have certain criteria I like to have, or I may not do them right away, but eventually I'll get to it. So, and also guys, be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.